Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm reading for Cancerian energy today from now going into August. So Cancer, I've got a joystick on the go, guys, if you can see that. Immediately as I turn the camera on, it'll start wafting into my face. You could have some rituals, some self-care practices. Just make sure you've got your supplies in stock. I ran out of something and I was going to use patchouli, a patchouli incense stick for your reading because patchouli means love to me, I'd run out. And so it came with this message of like running out of love. And if you look closely at this Queen of Cups, she's holding this cup up high, but she's kind of surreptitiously tipping this cup out. So for some of you, I was picking up this sense of, I mean, you are a very nostalgic energy. I'm saying you, by the way, I need to say this reading's for Cancer energy generally. It's not a personal reading. So none of us are 100% Cancerian or any sign. We have 12 houses. All the planets move around those 12 houses. We're affected by all the energies of the zodiac in different ways at different times. But Cancerian energy, if you identify as Cancerian, if you resonate strongly with Cancerian energy, whether it's one of your significant placements or just you find that normally makes sense to you, and then this could be your reading. But again, collective, it's not personal, so some things may resonate. Just leave the things that don't, because it could be just a side message for somebody else. But like I say, you've got this feeling of kind of like nostalgia, and it could be really, it's got that feeling of kind of like running into an old friend, running into an old family member, very strongly this idea of like running into an ex. It feels like there's a lot of love there. The song that was playing for you when I first started your reading was Blue Jeans. It's by Lana Del Rey, but it was the Sofia Karlberg cover. And she says, I will love you till the end of time. I've loved you more than all those bitches before. So it's almost like the sirens are going now, right? Cancer. Cancer. You actually feel really good energetically. You've also got the song it spells out witch, but it's an acronym, W.I.T.C.H. But it's a woman in total control of herself. And then as I was listening to this song, like Cancer's a woman in total control of herself, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go and get the Chariot card, which is your major arcana, and it was right there. It was like right underneath. So again, like you've got control of yourself, right? This is not, yeah, okay, you may have anxiety, you may have nostalgia, but it's this feeling of getting in control of your feelings. For the most part, you may have a few hiccups, which I will talk about. So it's like, why are you so scared of a woman in charge, right? With that Chariot energy. So yeah, for the most part, you're feeling quite capable. You've also got this Nine of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy. It's kind of like your opposing sign. So it's almost like this feeling of self-reliance. You've actually got a card about self-care over here. And the Nine of Pentacles is kind of the card about self-care, you know, nurturing yourself, looking after yourself, recovering, eating well, doing things that's good for your body, doing things that's good for your mental well-being, and all this kind of stuff. So you may have a lot of practice as being a very emotional sign. Cancerian, it depends. Cancerian moons as well, very, very emotional. Can keep it hidden though. You have got this thing about hiding your feelings. So again, it's like if you're running into an ex with that blue jeans, white shirt, right, walked into the room. God, the dogs are barking now. You've got some dogs in your reading too. Walked into the room, you know, you made my eyes hurt. It's like, you know, someone, they still look really good for you. You see them and like all those old feelings are still there. But you've got this song by Maisie Peters about, let me just grab my notes, about spare me the details, right? So it's like, maybe it's like watching someone move on, watching someone get into a new relationship, and you're like, you know, happy for you, but I'm hurting and I don't want to ask questions. I don't want to know where you've been on holiday. I don't want to know what her favorite film is. Like, I don't want to know the details because it hurts me. It hurts me to hear that. You've also got like the beach as well. So the beach is a very nostalgic card for me. It could be talking about maybe going on holiday with somebody or something like that. The siren as well. The siren on the beach, guys. I don't know. You do have the snake here, which is interesting because it came out in, I want to say, Gemini's reading. I've done 4 readings today, so I'm kind of losing track. But it was kind of like someone who was pretending to be nice, pretending to be all like, how are you doing? Like, I'll be your shoulders to cry on. Well, actually, secretly underneath, they were kind of like loving the drama. And I did say it feels a bit Cancerian to me. It's kind of like they love giving that emotional support. They kind of love it when bad things happen because it's like they can go in and be like that. Like, it's sounding a bit like Pisces energy as well now. Like, they love going in and being like what's going on, like give me the details, you know, that kind of thing, but now you like spare me the details. So again, this could be somebody around you who's like showing up to provide emotional support, but they could be a bit of a snake. It also, snakes on their own as well, they also talk about, they're not necessarily bad. They could talk about renewal, you know, maybe having like part of your skincare routine is having like a face peel, you know, or you know, shedding your skin, shedding that old skin that's just, there's something restrictive about your reading as well, like especially with the Nine of Pentacles, which is talking about being quite good where you are, but you know, there's a whole world out there to explore, so it's like needing to get out of the gate. And there's something else as well, I can't quite remember where it is, but this feeling of kind of being restricted and wanting to get out of a situation. Again, it could be like being in a room with somebody and it's like, oh, we've got this history, I don't really want to talk, I don't really want to ask them about the life because I'd rather just kind of forget about it. Something like that. Also, the song Zombie was playing. My kid was playing the song Zombie, which is about, you know, hang on, my cat wants to come in. Yeah, so the zombie song, it's like, it's in your head, zombie. It's kind of like someone who's reliving the past and can't let things go, which is a very, very Cancerian trait. Again, this is going to apply differently to all of you because you're going to want to check out all your different placements, your Mars, your Venus, your Mercury, your Moon, your Lilith, your North Node, all that good stuff, which is going to kind of give you your personal individual personality. Because like Mars is like how you take action, what makes you angry, what you do when you're angry. So my cat's being a pest. Yeah, just look up your full placements. It's really worthwhile. Find that it's very beneficial to do that. But Cancerian by itself, especially kind of like Cancerian Venus, can be very, very clingy in love situations, you know, really hard to let go of those memories. So you actually do have a very, very Cancerian card. This Six of Cups came out and really validated that feeling of nostalgia and like looking back at the past and kind of feeling very emotional. There could also be something about children or childhood because you actually have the Six of Cups here and it came out in your reading as well. But maybe having control of that, like getting control of your memories, which perhaps at some points can be very over emotional. What else do I have for you? You get what you want. So I've got this feeling of like, you always get what you want one way or another. It's kind of a bit petulant, but it's, you know, you're in the driving seat, you know, you always get what you want in the end kind of thing, which fair enough. But also you've got to live and let live. Again, that feeling of kind of like, you're coming like with good intentions. I was getting good intentions and live and let live. So it's like almost like you're not trying to sabotage, you're not trying to make a situation difficult. You are trying to come to this in a friendly way. So that's good, especially if this is towards, maybe if you've got an ex, you know, and you know, sometimes what can happen is you can have like the same friendship circle. So, you know, somebody's getting married or, you know, there's some reason why everybody's getting together. And it's kind of like you're there, your ex is there because you were all part of the same friendship group, you know, you all knew each other. And so sometimes it can be really awkward when the ex shows up with their new partner and you're like, I need to be nice to them. You know, I'm going to kind of like offer them the cup. I'm going to be pleasant, but you're not going to go out of your way to kind of like ask them about their life and their childhood. I mean, maybe you are Cancer, I don't know. Very Cancerian thing to do. It's like 2 minutes of meeting someone. It's like, tell me about your parents. Yeah, she ain't out to get you, but she's better on your side. Again, this felt like it was coming through for you, like good intentions. You're not out to kind of sabotage. You're not out to be mean to anyone. But, you know, it's better for people if you're on their side. I don't know. Yeah, that why are you so scared of a woman in charge? It made me think of Margot Robbie and how successful she is. She's beautiful, she's talented. So Cancerians in the driving seat can actually be very, very successful. Don't be afraid of your own emperor energy. I was kind of getting inner emperor. I've had this song stuck in my head. It's called Amaretto, and I don't know, it's kind of coming back through for you. it's like round and round she goes. Where she'll end up, nobody knows. It's kind of like that's your life, right? Cancerian life can sometimes feel like an emotional roller coaster or like a carousel ride, right? It's like round and round, especially round and round in terms of like that feeling of like going back to the past, back to old relationships, back to old situations. It can take you a long time to really kind of like break free of those old ties. Yeah, and that's it for your notes. So again, this need for like pouring that love into yourself, you know, not over giving, but remembering that you deserve love too, and you know you can nurture yourself best. I think with that Nine of Pentacles, it could be that there's a cappy around you, but I think it's more about, you know, your own birth chart and your own placements, and this concept of, if you're Cancer, you know, your opposite sign is Capricorn, and there's lessons that can be learned through that. I've got Cancerian North Node and Capricorn South Node. It's interesting, we've got Adventure South here, so could be something about your nodes, but this idea of kind of like our South Node being our comfort zone, and we're meant to kind of make our way, you know, to shake off kind of those old habits and embrace things that feel uncomfortable, because it's going to teach us new things. So going towards your North Node, but you seem to be going towards your South Node, which is curious. Okay, so let's move the snake. I'm going to ask next, before we get into kind of the reading that's on the table, and you've got a lot of cards, Cancer. You've got a lot to say. No, not holding anything back here. It's kind of like the waterfall is here. Like everything's coming out in this reading. But before we get into it, I want to ask who your guides are at this time, like who's around you. So take it as the energy. Don't get too hung up on the specific deity or the personification of the energy when I pull these cards. Like if it means something to you, great. If not, just take it as the teaching. What is that card talking about? Because it could apply to your situation, but this is kind of your spirit guides, like who's around you. I'm also going to ask, what are they helping you with? Like what's the lesson to be learned here? So let's go ahead and pull those, and I'm actually going to read the description at the end of the reading. Who's around Cancer this month? Who is helping Cancer out? It could also be spirit showing up energetically through somebody that you know in the physical. So like a friend who calls you at the right time, something like that. Who is around Cancer, please, this month? Who is helping out Cancerian energy this month? Make me think of that Taylor Swift song, like, you're on your own, kid. What is it? You're on your own, kid. It's from a new album. Okay, you're not on your own. You've actually got 3 guides. You've got Atargatis, Transformation, Deep Diving, Mer Magic. So it's interesting, you've got the beach and the snake. The beach and the snake and the siren. Very mermaidy. Very, very mermaidy. If that means something to you, perhaps this is somebody, like somebody who's passed over who loved mermaids, something like that, some association. Lady Sarah, Divine Union, New Earth, Holy Grail, and Oneness. A very interesting card. An Archangel Uriel, Illumination, Inner Power, and Ideas into Form. So helping you in manifestation there. So dreaming of a better future. Doing that deep dive, which again, so Cancerian, right? Doing that deep dive into your own psyche, into your own emotions, finding all the treasures down there, you know, the life lessons, the pearls of wisdom, bringing that up and envisioning no matter what harm's done to you, because there is some harm here in this reading, which feels like something from the past. You know, having that live and let live approach, and believing in making a better society for everybody, and society learning those lessons so that we can all live in a more peaceful, respectful way, and then bringing the stream into life, which sounds very, very noble of you. Again, Cancer energy does love a noble cause, and they do like a little kind of that martyr energy. So in a good way, I mean, that's a compliment, right? Having a cause, having something to fight for, and normally that kind of like social justice, or like standing up against a social injustice, is very, very Cancerian. Okay. They just draw me to the idea of like social politics, and they're showing me kind of like Pisces and Aquarius. So there could be something about Pisces and Aquarius. Like you could find kind of soulmates in that energy if you are trying to kind of like solve some kind of social problem, and there's kind of like politics involved, because Pisces is very in alignment with you in that way, like this kind of social, the person side. They're showing me Erin Brockovich, you know how she was really good at kind of like making emotional connections with people, but then having the people who are like the more Aquarian energy of like knowledge and facts and information, communication, you know, the more lawyer type energy. Yeah, they're showing me Erin Brockovich. Oh god, you've got so many cards. I'm not reading all these guys. I'm just going to take Deer because I don't want to read every single card that's come out. It's going to be a really long reading otherwise. But you've got Bring a Gentle Touch. The Deer can symbolize for me like your inner child, right? The vulnerable feminine. No matter how you identify kind of externally, the idea that we all have, you know, an inner child, an inner feminine, like these archetypes that exist through our learned experiences, and what it means. So if you hear the word mother, like your definition of what it means to be a mother is created by your experiences, or the information that has been made available to you of what a mother is. And so that inner archetype is a part of you. It's your conception of what it is to be a mother. So again, the idea of like what it is to be a vulnerable child, like kind of like Bambi energy. Somebody could have big Bambi eyes. White Raven Spirit, trust in the magic. You actually have that somewhere else as well, I think. Maybe not. There might have been another reading. Trust in the magic, surrender now, and clear out the clutter. I got that this week. I got clear out the clutter last night when I did a practice reading for myself. So this morning I got up and tidied the front room. where my kid plays Xbox, and it was like covered in crumbs, bits of empty crisp packets and things like this. I was like, I need to go and tidy. So yeah, that's yeah, definitely have a tidy up, and unexpected visitors as well. I was like, oh no, quick tidy. Okay, Cancer, you're definitely having a deep dive, and you're actually being encouraged to follow that emotion down. Oh, my tummy rumbled. I've got some, so sharing, and I know you'll listen, Cancer. Like, I know you'll care because you're a caring sign. Like, I can confide in you. I've had a breakout of acne, and I couldn't get it back under control with like my usual techniques of just meditating and doing yoga and eating mushrooms, like the stuff that normally works for me. And so I had to like go to the doctor and get these old antibiotics that I used to be on when I used to have really bad acne. I'm like, it's getting out of control, give me my antibiotics, and they've given me them. So yeah, I can't eat though. You can't eat for 4 hours before taking them and an hour afterwards. So I'm getting close to, it's been about 3 hours, I think, and I'm like, I want to eat something. Okay, Cancer, your reading starts with soul retrieval, which is feeling like rescuing yourself. So I don't know if this is something again that you maybe do in therapy or through guided meditation. It's this idea of kind of like rescuing your past self from toxic situations, you know, being your own hero. This idea of kind of like those parts of yourself that were damaged and lost through painful experiences and events and relationships, of being able to go back and heal those. So you start off very, very positively. And then with growth as well, it feels like soul growth, right? Maybe you are spending a lot of time in nature. I noticed that the following card is this look in a book, and she's kind of out reading in nature. So it could be like spending time in your garden, watching the butterflies, understanding nature better, like how things transform could also be very beneficial for you. But yeah, it's really looking for me about like, you're making progress, right? You're having that soul growth. Your soul is expanding and healing through whatever it is that you've been doing. If you are seeking answers, I think you could be reading like self-help books, or even just reading books and finding it cathartic to kind of bond with the characters as they go through their journeys and experiences. And yeah, to be able to empathize with their journey, I think could be very, very it's kind of like having an emotional experience but not having to have it firsthand. So having that, because the Cancer has this need for, it's kind of like almost like Cancer sometimes has this need for the chaos. Like they need the the ups and downs of life. It's like Cancer can feed off that, but then you have those highs and you have those really painful lows, as a result of needing that like, you need life to be vivid. But yeah, sometimes you can get it secondhand. You don't need to have the first-hand experience. You don't have to put yourself in these difficult situations. You know, you can read a book and have that adventure of like the mind, right? And still feel all those emotions, but in a safe way. And likewise, like the need for Cancer to kind of like make those social connections and really like encourage their friends to tell their stories, and like you're very good at pulling those emotions out of other people because you're such a good listener, right? It's because you're so compassionate and empathetic, and this is a beautiful thing about Cancer. But again, it's like hearing other people's experiences can feed that need that you have without you having to kind of blow up your whole life because you had a bad day. So again, not every single Cancerian is going to be like that, but it could be, if you do have that awareness of perhaps those moments where you self-sabotage, perhaps, you know, again, with that soul growth, it's kind of like getting that under control. But then you have this real nostalgia. Again, it's that feeling of kind of really struggling to let go of something from the past. It could be, again, something to do with a child or your childhood. There's something about this girl in the water, this figure in the water, right? It could be somebody like a friend that you lost in childhood, somebody that you really miss who's on the other side. I feel strongly, Cancer, though, it's like an aspect of yourself. An aspect of yourself with that dear spirit that could feel very, very vulnerable, and very there's something about like feeling like a victim, right? Feeling like you were taken advantage of, or your innocence was abused in some sort of way, which is taking us into a quite scary territory that I don't want to follow that down, but you seem to be doing that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for you to follow if you feel like that's right. But again, this idea of seeing yourself as just like seeing yourself as a victim, like seeing yourself as maybe someone who needed, and it doesn't mean that you have to have terrible parents or anything like that, but it could be a moment, right? A moment where you had a bad experience and you felt like your innocence was damaged in some sort of way, like the purity of your soul was damaged in some sort of way, and perhaps not feeling like you had the care or attention that you needed at that moment, and that having this long-term negative effect on you. It just feels like something that's really, really hard to let go of. And so again, with this idea of kind of feeling like a victim, right? Feeling like things happen to you, that you don't have any control, is kind of, the following card is this rescue card. This idea of like needing a knight in shining armor, needing your Prince Charming, like not having any self-agency, which I want to say is not true. And that's kind of what is being discovered perhaps through this. It's kind of like, I can't save myself. And there are definitely moments where, like, when we feel powerless, right? We feel like, there's that alarm again. We feel powerless. We feel like our agency is taken away from us. We feel like we need someone to come in and help. And that's not something that I'm saying is a bad thing, right? Sometimes we do. Sometimes we need someone to come in and be the right person at the right time, you know, to when it's so hard to look after ourselves, we need that person to come in and pick us up. And I want to say, Cancer, you're normally that person for other people, but there's something about kind of like almost like a victim mentality, or this conception of yourself as powerless that isn't necessarily helpful at this time. And the reason why is, I want to say it could be that you're avoiding something, right? So it's almost like, this situation's painful to me, this situation makes me feel vulnerable and helpless, I don't want to go there emotionally. But the advice seems to be, because this rescue card is followed by south, right? Adventure south. And you can see how it's like this pool of water, self-reflection. It's like, and then here it's like the water's streaming down. I'm not saying you should jump off a waterfall or anything, but emotionally speaking, it's like you have to flow with this. You have to follow this emotion. You have to go down into those scary, like, it's like you don't know where this is going to lead you, but it's almost like in order to be able to heal, you have to go to that scary place. Now, it could be a physical place. I don't want to say, like, I want to be really careful. I'm not a psychologist. If you've got like a therapist or something, obviously follow their advice first. But I do want to say sometimes we can avoid difficult emotions, and then those difficult emotions can stagnate. It's almost like I can't mentally go to that place. So again, it could be that you need a therapist to help you. It could be that like hypnotherapy or something could be beneficial to you. Noisy. You know, it could be that you've been blocking something out of your mind, but carrying it around with you, and it's just this burden. So there is this feeling of kind of like, no, you need to go back to that moment, back to that place with this, because what this leads down to, like this water's leading down to the spirit of place. So there's been a lot of stuff in the previous readings about this idea of somebody who's so connected to the place that they've become part of the furniture, or somebody who is, they've lived there for so long that that place has become an extension of their personality, or even somebody who's been sat there so long that the place has kind of settled over them. The idea of kind of like the dust settling on the shoulders of this person. I'm sorry, it's getting very noisy outside all of a sudden. So it's like you have to go back to that place, and it could be a specific physical place, like a childhood home, right? Even if it's just driving past it, you know, driving through the old neighborhood and seeing the changes. It could be that, again, maybe you're revisiting some kind of childhood home, and you know, maybe there's been a death in the family, so you have to go to the funeral, you have to go back to that physical city or village, you know. It could be a place in your mind, so not a physical place at all, but a destination in your memory. So this is what you seem to be adventuring towards, and it seems like you need to take a really deep breath before you go down there. I am getting this feeling of maybe like a panic attack, or this feeling of emotional overwhelm, because there's this real resistance to it, which is why I feel like you're coming in with this rescue. It's almost like uncorking something and then not being able to put the cork back in the bottle. It's got this kind of overflow energy to it, which could be why you feel like you want rescuing. But I do see you coming back into stillness, because you have this reflecting pool, right? It's almost like crying it out. You know, when you just run out of tears, you know, and hold on. Hello, Cancer. Welcome back to your reading. So I'm sorry for the interruption. I can't quite remember where I was up to, but I'm going to kind of like jump back in. That was quite an extended interruption. So just saying, like, there's definitely something to tarot cards. Last night I kind of like did a reading for myself, and it had this whole thing about like clean out the clutter, tidy up, because there's going to be unexpected visitors. So I did this morning, kind of clean the front room, and my eldest friends just kind of showed up en masse and invited themselves in. So yeah, there's definitely something to this business. So this idea of kind of like reflecting, right? Reflecting into, so seeing yourself one way and then seeing yourself a different way. So again, this is kind of like the swan. And if you think about the story of the ugly duckling, they thought they were ugly, they thought they didn't fit in. And then after a while, they realized they were this beautiful swan, right? They weren't a duckling at all. There was something kind of like more elegant, more graceful, more rare. So there's something where you saw yourself one way, and then when you quiet those emotions and when you find stillness and have that reflection, you see yourself, you perceive yourself a different way. Again, therapy can really help you do that. There's this jaguar showing up as well, which is kind of beautiful, because the jaguar shows up for me when as a part of ourselves that is instinctive because it's learned through experience. So those darker times, those kind of shadows, the jaguars got that really good intuition and that sixth sense for kind of knowing when a situation's bad, knowing when to get out of there. So yeah, the fact that the jaguar is showing up is kind of a really good sign. If you read it differently, if the jaguar is symbolic to you in a different way, absolutely take it however you will. But again, it could be reflecting on yourself, and perhaps if you thought of yourself as bad in some sort of way, you know, because it's kind of like your shadow, something that's wrong or bad, or that you didn't want to accept as part of yourself. Because if your perception of yourself was that you were the innocent party, right, you were the, and of course if you've had some kind of experience and you were a child, like, children can't be held to blame when they're children, right? But there's something where it was really important to you, for your sense of self and for your sense of like, I'm the good person, to have seen yourself as some kind of like, in some kind of like childlike way. So even if this is something that happened to you as an adult, it's almost like this almost like a childish conception of what happened. I'm not attacking you. I'm here as a friend, right? I'm explaining kind of that this is to help you, instead of, this is to empower you. Because it's accepting a part of yourself, it's accepting a part of your shadow, it's accepting something that you pushed down and denied about yourself, you know, about this particular situation. But when you embrace it as a strength, it does empower you. So the Jaguar is also here to kind of like guide you through those darker periods and those harder times. So I want to see, upon reflection, you do see the light, right? If you felt like you've been in a very dark place where you felt stranded, or you felt stuck, or you felt like you were in need of rescue, it's almost like your fairy godmother appears to kind of like show you some kind of symbol of hope. So let me show you this card first. The Fairy Queen of Light comes to shed love and light onto your current situation, and to remind you that light can penetrate the darkness with this transcending energy. It's almost like spirit coming as to pick you up. So it could be that somebody's coming in to kind of rescue you. Aries had something really similar the other day. They had a really similar card, and it was like someone showing up at the right place at the right time, with the right, you know, saying the right thing, or with the right tool that Aries needed to kind of get out of the situation. I did 4 Aries readings, guys, so it's not the one that's actually up on the channel. But you have a kind of similar thing of like, I need rescuing, I need help, I'm this vulnerable child in this situation, and yet you're not that little ugly duckling at all. You're this beautiful adult swan. Do you see what I'm saying? So here with this dragon card with the power, right, it's here with the light. So again, the light is here, the light is here, and I want to say it's showing you an aspect of yourself. It's showing you, reconnecting you with your inner light, but it's your shadow that's helping you do this. And again, the shadow is something that's kind of protective of us. So the dragon, the shadow, it's kind of all similar symbolism for me personally. So it's kind of like your light is being protected by these kind of darker guardians, if you like. But like I say, it's kind of like this fairy queen of light comes in at the perfect time, and it seems like it could be, you know, if you've been hoping to see a certain guide, a certain symbol, something sent from your guides to show you that the light exists. As I'm saying, this is like the reflection of the sunlight glinting off some glass. So it's like this pinprick of light. It's like, if you've been looking for a sign, it's like the sign's there, right? The light, the Fairy Queen of Light is sending you this sign, right? Whether it's a rainbow, whether it's a certain bird, because you also have this bluebird spirit and happiness. So it's kind of like a message from spirit that to give you hope, because it says hope. There's always hope, even when we can't see it. Optimistic expectations can help change a negative situation into a positive one. And this is kind of what I was saying about, it's not that I'm victim blaming, and I want you to understand that I'm not victim blaming. You know, if something bad was done to you, then the onus, like the guilty party is the one that did the bad thing. But if you see yourself as a helpless victim, and you carry that forward into new relationships, this is where that carousel keeps going, right? Where the patterns repeat themselves, because you have this perception of yourself as a helpless victim. So you don't help yourself, and you expect people to be kind to you, and when they're not, it's like, oh, I'm trapped, poor me, right? And I don't mean to give you a hard time, Cancer. I'm really trying to help you. And if I'm not the right person to do this, if the messages are not being received well, if you are retreating into your shell right now and being defensive, maybe you need to speak to an actual accredited therapist, okay? Because it feels like there's a lot of emotional, it's kind of like almost like what's that? Cognitive behavioral therapy, because it seems like almost like a thinking pattern in I've been treated badly, therefore I expect to be treated badly. And this is why it says optimistic expectations can help change a negative situation into a positive one. This hope, this light, this positive mentality, this like looking for the light in the bad situations seems to be how you break out of this cycle, right? It's hard to do. It's a practice behavior. So again, not giving you a hard time here. I'm not victim blaming. I'm saying that you do have control, right? You do have options, and spirit is here to help you see them and break those negative patterns that have held on to you for so long. Because I love that the card Hope, like look at the imagery of these two together, Hope and the Nine of Fire. So if you're familiar with the tarot, the Nine of Fire is the Nine of Wands, and it is the Wounded Warrior card. It's someone who's had really hard times, but they learned to persevere. And what kept them going through the darkness in this case is this wish or dream or hope. So this idea of like, don't abandon hope. All hope is not lost. And as long as you can see that one pinprick of light, that one glimmer of optimistic thinking, you can persevere through these darker periods. And the importance of that, right? The importance of that. So with this perseverance energy, the next card that comes along is, sorry, this cat's been up here, is patience. So something again about this white bird, right? With the swan here and then this. It's kind of like, it's the same. It's not the same bird, but I'm seeing it as the same energy. So they need to be patient. They need to stand in the, it could be like brain fog or confused emotions, right? There's also something kind of disguising about that, like keeping yourself hidden, perhaps. Not that you have to be a recluse, but just kind of being a bit subtle with your energy, where it's kind of like, maybe you don't want to get into, maybe it's that thing of like, you don't really want to get into a conversation with the guy in the shop when you're buying your bread. So you keep your headphones in. And yes, that's a little bit rude, but you can just kind of like nod and say thanks and, or like seem a bit distracted. It's just keeping a little bit of distance between them and you, and, just kind of being quiet and kind of getting back into the control of your emotions again. Something about the mist in the air as well, like when the water releases, it turns into this mist, which is a part of the disguise. I don't quite know how to follow that thought through entirely, but it's like the patience pays off, because I want to say then comes this gift, right? Then comes this invitation. So the Four of Earth could be talking about maybe saving your money, right? As you're doing a little bit of a healing period, a quiet period, putting the money aside that you would have spent, going out. But it always looks like she's offering something. And she's offering, I want to say, something like a piece of your soul, something that's going to be healing to your soul, just because this butterfly energy, you've got soul retrieval there. You've also got this the soul butterfly. So butterflies could be something symbolically for you that feels like a message from your guides. But yeah, it's kind of saying celebration, get ready to let your hair down and celebrate. It's time to go out, dance and play. An invitation could be on the way. So looking forward to, getting an invitation and looking forward to going out and seeing your friends, your family, the people who you want to spend time with and having fun. It's like your patience and your perseverance pays off, because if you're doing that kind of self-care, if you're saving money, then you're going to really enjoy it when it comes. So really cute energy there. I'm going to have to shuffle up again. You've got so many cards. Okay. So I do think you've got some kind of guardian angel or benefactor. It's like you've got this fairy godmother energy here. You've got this dragon energy here. There's this kind of like... because it's coming through with the word guardian, which I know another sign got guardian a few times. I think it was Aries. The Cerberus energy. So it could be, maybe there's something symbolically about dogs, because you also have this energy here, service. More Molikia, if you want to Google it, you can absolutely do that. I'm not going to read that card today. But this idea of like, obviously, Cerberus guards the gates, right? So it's this... So maybe it's something like spending time with your animal, making sure, you know, feeling safe and secure because you know that your animals are there to kind of like warn you of any intruders. I don't know. But it feels more like a protective spirit who, it's like you're going to meet this person, you're going to meet this this energy, you're going to see its face in a way, which is interesting because there was this other thing about, I think it was in Gemini's reading about like someone wearing a mask, because it says self-love as well, right? Self-love and strength. So that's really just talking to me about, again, this quiet period of kind of like taking care of yourself, you know, maybe having like a face mask, a bit of a spa day. I know Cancer energy really seems to like the spa day. I always talk about like going to the spa with you, with your girlfriends, you know. But yeah, rebuilding your strength, replenishing your body with the ancient oak tree, and getting very, very grounded as well, like regrounding. Anything that you do that's like a grounding practice after perhaps something that's emotionally turbulent. Again, it could be this feeling of kind of like going back to a childhood home, or you know, a place that carries a lot of nostalgic emotion for you. It could be very overwhelming to kind of like see all those places and people and things again from your past. It could bring back up a lot of old memories. So again, if that's been very emotionally overwhelming, it's like this is the rebuilding of, the regrounding, the rebuilding of getting back to like a normal state. But like I say, with that kind of guardian, and then with this blessings in reverse, it's not that you're not getting blessings. The story of this card is that the person is like a fisherman, and his whole town stays really, really lazy, and he doesn't kind of like do any work. He doesn't provide anything to the community, and yet in his every single night he goes and he puts on this fish skin that turns him into this kind of like water monster, and he goes out and he catches loads of fish, and he leaves these baskets of fish in the village for everybody to wake up and find the next day. So it's kind of like it's talking about somebody who's doing an active service, because you do have this service, right? Somebody who's doing an active service, but it's unseen and it's unthanked and unrewarded. Again, a little bit martyr energy. It could be you, but let's not dwell on that. But yeah, it's kind of like just doing something from the goodness of your heart because it's the right thing to do, and because you want people to be provided for and you want them to be happy. It's making me think of kind of like sometimes like in Twitch streams, or you know, people in my community, like friends and family, will sometimes be on hard times and they'll kind of run a like a GoFundMe, or you know, just was it Just Give? I can't remember the names of the sites, but it's like they can set up a page where it's like, you know, struggling to pay rent, you know, can anyone provide you know, can anyone donate towards it? And you get the people who take the mickey a little bit with that, who, you know, who are clearly kind of, I don't know. There's the people who really need it when they're really desperate, and you know, they never ask for anything and they're always giving. And then there's people who are constantly asking for stuff, and you kind of think, are you taking advantage of people? But anyway, it's like I've definitely gone and, or it's like people are doing Twitch streams to raise money for charity. I've done it several times where I've donated anonymously, like promoted it, retweeted it, but donated anonymously, because I'm not looking for anything for myself out of that, right? I just want that person to be okay. Yeah, it's kind of something like that, like an anonymous benefactor. So I feel like you've had some kind of like anonymous benefactor. Could be in the 3D as well. It could be a literal person. It could be an energy. But it's like you're going to get to, with this being in the reverse, it's like they're taking the mask off, right? They're taking off the it's no longer secret, it's no longer anonymous. You're going to see their face. It's looking to me like you're going to see their face, right? With creation, it's like you're going to see the face of the, maybe the creator, but this benefactor energy. It's like you're going to get to know them better. You're going to get to meet face to face in a positive way. Like you'll be able to put a face to the name or something like that if you know this person online. Maybe it's like a work thing where you've been working with this person for a long time, but it's all emails, and then you go to kind of like a work event and you see the face and you're like, oh, there's that person who's been so helpful and really took me under their wing. Could be something like that. And then freedom, horse, and service. So this idea of this it's almost like something that's quite scary, right? I want to say this is that energy. It's like something that seems quite scary, but actually coming through as protective of you, or actually coming through as maybe even your own shadow, right? This is an aspect of the self that you've been afraid of, but it's actually here to guard you and serve you. It could just be something about a dog as well. And then freedom and horse. It's almost like this is opening the gate for you to, if you felt like you needed rescuing, it's like suddenly realizing that you're not trapped anymore, right? You're no longer that guardian of the gate energy. You're moving past the Nine of Pentacles into kind of like the new world, the new things that are there to explore. So it ends really, really well for you, I want to say, Cancer. And there could definitely be something as well, like these two cards together. There could be something about cleaning house and Ten of Earth. How I was saying it, like I got a similar energy of kind of like clean your house, unexpected visitors. It could be the stuff that's kind of gathering dust, which is nostalgic for you. It's like again, it's like this idea of the place, like the place where there's a lot of objects with feelings attached, with memories attached, and it's almost kind of suffocating you. It's kind of like a stagnating energy. It's stopping you from really having that kind of growth and freedom. It's like some kind of like tie, nostalgic tie energy. And again, it's almost like she sees herself as this child. So the need to kind of clear out the clutter or go through the old things, and you know, to break that emotional bond with certain things, because it could be, think about it as well, like, does that object make you feel happy, or does that object make you feel sad? Is that an object, is that a way that you want to keep feeling, or you know, could someone benefit from that object in a way that it's not benefiting you? So it could be something like that as well. Okay, you've got a lot of stuff about wisdom as well. Like you've got the seer is underneath this as well, like the seer, they know, they see, the owl and the wisdom. Have you ever been told that you're wise beyond your years? Now is the time to call upon your inner fairy wisdom to help you with a challenge. So it could be that there is a big challenge. And that kind of energy has been coming out quite a lot in basically every single reading so far. The idea of like going back to a house and clearing it out, which I know, actually, shout out to my Cancerian friend if you're watching. I know that is something that you're actually, is a kind of long-term project for you, so it could definitely be something that a lot of people are experiencing. I mean, my dad's house is still sat there with all his things kind of gathering dust, so I don't really know what's going on with that yet. So you know, it's a real experience that a lot of people have, so it can be a shared experience. Okay, gosh, I've got a lot of reading to do, guys. So your guides are a Targatis. Atargatis was the first mermaid. She was one of the main goddesses of Syria, present-day Syria and parts of Iraq, around 100 BCE, before her worship spread into Greece. Ice cream van, guys. Until her worship spread into Greece, Rome, and other parts of the Mediterranean. She is a goddess of fertility and a protector, and she looks after all those who can call upon her. So it might be a female, again, like this idea of like the protector, the guardian, the idea of this fish or siren energy. She fell in love with a mortal man called Hadad, but she was too powerful and accidentally killed him, and her heartbreak was too much to bear, so she threw herself into the ocean. The gods thought she was too beautiful to die, and they saved her, but her deep dive into the ocean had transformed her into a mermaid. Call on Atargatis in times of heartbreak or challenge, and let her journey to the depths with you, guiding your way back up to the light. Isn't that exactly what we're saying? This idea of like taking a deep dive into those emotional waters, to that dark place, having the guides that are protecting you while you do this, and then this resurfacing with the fairy of light, kind of like giving you the hope. It's like sometimes we have to go there and come back in order to be able to release it. Call on Atargatis. Yeah, I've read that. Remember that heartbreak can be a catalyst for the most powerful transformation. The Oracle, it's time to transform. Let go of the old, of who you used to be, and step into the light of the new you. All this stuff about stepping into the light, right? And this, again, this idea of kind of like the soul retrieval, the butterfly being like the soul and coming out of a transformative period. So 20, I think, I always say, you always feel like, normally you feel like you've got this group of 3 girls around you, but in this case it's like these 2 girls and this guy. Okay, Lady Sarah, who is sometimes referred to as Saint Sarah, Sra, or just Sarah, is the daughter of Mary Magdalene and Jesus. While there is very little evidence to prove she ever existed, the idea of her has captivated many on the spiritual path, especially those on the path of the divine feminine, the priestess path, or the path of the Magdalene. It is said that after Jesus' death, Mary Magdalene travelled to France to escape persecution herself and continued to teach the good news. Lady Sarah embodies the energy of unity, the Aquarian age, and the balance of the divine masculine and divine feminine we so desperately need in our present time on this planet. Sometimes referred to as the Holy Grail, many believe Sarah went on to have her own children, meaning that Jesus's and Mary's descendants are still walking the earth, and you may even be one of them. Lady Sarah will continue to be a myth and mystery, so the only way to know for sure is to find her within your heart and invite her to share her secrets with you. And again, that idea of like the inner you, right? The inner oracles, the parts of yourself that can teach you and give you that light that you need. The oracle, a new day is dawning. You are part of a new wave of unity and love. Balance the energies within you first so you can assist in the awakening of the new world. I don't mean to give you a hard time all the time, by the way, Cancer. It just sometimes happens in your readings. It's like how I shout at Virgos. I'm like, put self-care on your to-do list. I just feel like I'm like, Cancer, are you seeing yourself as a victim again? Thought we talked about that. So I'm sorry if it comes across as like condescending. Again, I've got a Cancer North Node, so really seeing the beauty of Cancerian energy recently, but also those kind of those emotions. It's like a storm. Okay, Archangel Uriel's name means fire or light of God, and he's the angel that can help turn your ideas into reality. Archangel Uriel can help activate and open up the crown chakra so you can receive divine wisdom with more clarity and ease. He also helps to activate the solar plexus so you can take that wisdom and use it to make positive changes in your own life and the world around you. Archangel Uriel is a powerful angel to work with for those who identify as light workers, similar to Lady Sarah, right? This idea of bringing more light into the world, finding that inner light and sharing it with others. So it's like when we heal, we can help. Because you're so empathetic as well, it's like when you heal yourself and you know what worked for you, you can help others who are going through a similar thing. It's kind of that a lot of the time people who become counselors were counseled, it's like because you see the benefit of it. The oracle, it's time to take action and on the divine guidance you have been receiving. Okay, where's the other card? What was the other one? I feel like I've lost it. Oh dear. Where's it gone? There's too many cards on the table. Dear Spirit, there it is. Bring a gentle touch. Oh, it's open right on the page as well. Isn't that funny? Bring a gentle touch. The time has come, my little friends, to talk of many things. Of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings. The time has come to be gentle and diplomatic when dealing with others. You may have found yourself in a situation where negotiations are necessary in order to reach your goal. Be mindful of the words you choose, but do not worry. Dear Spirit reminds you that you have the ability to be sure-footed and confident while showing humility and respect for others. You will find that that again, humility and respect for others, it's exactly what I was picking up on, this idea of kind of like, I've not come to do any harm, I've only come to put good into the world. You will find that your capacity for calm and grounded communication is heightened at this time. That's what I was saying. It's like that woman in total control of herself, right? It can be quite scary when you've got that raging sea of emotions behind you, Cancer, but you are in full control of yourself. It's magnetic. It's kind of like Cancer in their highest form, like that, really embodying that kind of like goddess of the moon energy. Follow the way of the deer and you will do well, gaining the respect of others and finding common ground that is pleasing to you. Remember that understanding others and their needs will be more powerful at this time than putting your own first. If you do that, you will be rewarded tenfold. And I got the kind of hand on my back again that I've been getting a lot this week. It's kind of like someone supporting me by putting the hand on my back. Right. What do we have? Let's get you a song to close out this reading. Help Cancer see the light. You. I told you it was you. Cancer. And Charlotte Lawrence, I think she's either Cancer or Leo. Go ahead, you can say it's my fault. It's like, that thing about blaming as well. Like, Let me just pull up the lyrics because they're not actually available on Spotify. I love Charlotte Lawrence. This is such a beautiful song. Let me just see if she is a Cancerian. Hang on, Charlotte Lawrence birth chart. Here we go. Just trying to find a site that I like. Yeah, Sun in Cancer, Moon in Capricorn, Mercury in Cancer. Again, communicating like a Cancerian. So if you listen to her music, it's really beautiful. It's kind of, oh no, that's Sharon Lawrence. Okay, that's not who I was Googling. Sorry, Sharon Lawrence. She's also a Cancer, if you know who she is. Oh God, I've got one of those consent things. No. I'll be back in a second. Sorry guys, it was one of those consent things where you have to go through and like turn off each one individually. No, she is Leo. She's a Leo. She doesn't actually look like she's got Cancerian in any of her major placements. Is she on the cusp? I can't quite tell. I've got like, it's one of those not mobile friendly sites. Yeah, she's on the Cancer Leo cusp. She's quite close to Cancerian energy. I think that's where I got that from. Let's just Google the song and we'll read the lyrics. I did say though, didn't I? She's either Cancer or Leo. Cancer Leo cusp. Yeah. So again, it's like you feel very graceful. Go ahead, you can say it's my fault. It doesn't really matter at all. Ticking time bomb, watch it explode. It's not like we could stop it at all. Hold me closer. I'm your virgin. Only God could save us now. Go ahead, you can say it's my fault. It doesn't really matter. So maybe somebody is victim blaming you. Where if you're the innocent in that situation and someone took advantage, I don't know, Cancer. It smells a bit fishy to me. And I don't think it's just the Malmakia or whatever it's called. The, what's that card called? It's not just the Gunnakadiet. It's you and all the things you do. I know it could be anybody. It should be anyone else. Loving you makes me hate you too. I know it could be anybody. It should be anybody else, but it's you. Waking up still wearing my clothes, you take a little piece of me home. When your mum says, where'd you get those? Just laugh and say you don't want to know. Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Only God can save us now. Go to bed wearing my clothes, it doesn't really matter. It seems like someone's took advantage of your loving nature, especially if you were young. Again, I don't want to go too deeply into that, but if that's your story, that's going to make sense to you. It feels like grooming. I don't know. I'll try acting crazy knowing that you'll save me. I mean, Cancer, stop it. Right, that is so like playing the oh, I'm the little girl, I need rescuing, so the big Pisces on the big white horse can come in and save you. I don't know if it's Pisces, but I'll try acting crazy knowing that you'll save me. Laugh it off and take me home. Caught you saying, baby, something's different lately. It's better if it's left alone. Oh, it's such a beautiful song. Let me just the existence of the song was revealed. Hang on, let me just see if it says anything about it. No, it doesn't really explain it on there. It's such a pretty song, but like painful as well. Again, that thing of like, I'll love you till the end of time, you know. And maybe this is like your first true love, and it hurts that, you know, it didn't work out. But again, just be careful about kind of exploiting that other person, like playing the damsel in distress or the guy in distress, so that knowing that this person's got that kind of maybe Virgo placements, maybe kind of like Virgo Venus, Virgo Mars. It's kind of like if you play the damsel, or Pisces as well, Pisces Venus, Pisces Mars. It's like if you play the little girl lost, damsel in distress, it's like they want to come in and be the hero and save you and protect you. And if you know that about them and you're exploiting that as that person's trying to move on into new relationships, it's really not healthy. That's not going to be for everybody. Again, I just feel like I'm giving you a really hard time in this reading, Cancer, and I don't mean to, but self-reflection and self-awareness of your own behaviours and your own behaviour patterns is good, because again, it feels like you're caught in a loop. Like the siren, right? It's like, I'm so beautiful, come and rescue me. I don't know. I'm going to get one more card from my own deck. Mercury. Check out your Mercury placement. Mercury placements can tell you a lot about the way people communicate. the way they treat their friends, the way they act in a friendship group. So sort of like Aquarius Mercury is very independent. It's like they're a bit of a know-it-all, bit bit kind of standoffish, can be a bit cool in relationships. It's like, I don't need friends, but hey, I'll hang out and entertain you and be quirky and cool. So like Cancer Mercury placement would be, you know, the shoulder to crown in a friendship group, very, very involved in everybody's personal and private lives, can be quite, they quite like the drama though, will whip up a storm, you know, the kind of person who's like always gossiping about other people's business. There's good and bad to every sign, right? What else have we got here? So we had Virgo Mercury. Virgo's very, they are this kind of service energy. It's like I always say, of people's destinies. Libras are meant to love. It's their destiny to love. Virgo's destiny is to be of service. It's like Virgo energy is, again, look at your full chart, because different charts, different personalities. Virgo energy in itself is this kind of, I live to serve, right? I want to feel useful. I want to be useful. I want to be of service. I want to show up and give people practical support. So Mercury Virgo would be like, can be very critical. Again, a little bit know-it-all, very critical, kind of Virgo Venus energy also is like critical of the people they love because they want to improve them. It's like they want people to help to improve and help themselves, so they're always critiquing. It's like it's meant to be constructive criticism, but it can damage the confidence. So critical in friendship groups, but always there. Like they are the person who will let you in if you turn up at 2 o'clock in the morning because you've locked yourself out and you've broke up with someone, right? So again, just be careful you're not taking advantage of the placements of friends. And just be capable as well, make sure people aren't taking advantage of your placements. If you're that person with the Virgo, you know, Virgo placements in your chart, and Virgo and Cancer are so self-sacrificing for the people that they care about. It's to a fault, right? So just be aware of those traits. I hope that was helpful for you. Again, not trying to give you a hard time. It's just sometimes the readings, like, do you know what I'm learning about Cancer energy is there's value in that. There's value in that massive storm of emotions that you're holding back. It's like you're constantly trying to push back the sea. There is value to it because there's very human experience in it, and it makes you a very empathetic person. So it's not, I'm getting the hand on my back. It's not that there's anything bad or wrong about this, but it's part of the process. So again, and part of the process is taking that deep dive, feeling hurt, and then coming back up and resurfacing and holding on to that pearl of wisdom or that glimmer of hope that you found through that journey and through that experience. And that's why we get such a powerful jaguar, right? The jaguar comes and grows when it learns through the harder times. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to go. Take care of yourselves, please, Cancers. Look after your loved ones. I know you always do. And make sure those loved ones are looking after you in the same way that you look after them, you know, and that nobody's taking advantage of each other in a situation. And you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I promise. Have a good August, and I'll see you again soon. Be that person who is in total control of themselves.